In mid-2025, Opendoor Technologies was among the stocks that started what could be called the second meme stock wave, following the introduction of the meme stock concept to the public in 2021, led by the famous surge of GameStop and, to a lesser extent, AMC stock. Let's take a closer look at what's behind the proverbial door of this captivating company, from its background and strategy to external forces from investors that try to keep the second meme stock wave going. In short, Opendoor was created to simplify and modernize the residential real estate process through a digital platform for buying, selling, and moving homes, delivering an on-demand, fully online experience using data science, software, and AI to create a seamless and transparent transaction process, thereby challenging the traditional home buying experience, which remains offline, by providing a digital-first approach that offers certainty and efficiency, especially after the demand for such solutions grew during the COVID-19 pandemic. Early backing and retail investor excitement prior to Opendoor's rise to fame tended to draw parallels to the impact of Carvana on the used car market, resulting in growing talk of the potent potential for Opendoor's stock, given investor support increased in close tandem with concrete efforts to improve the platform, cut costs, and increase margins. Indeed, prior to 2025, the seeds were sown and just needed a rush of investor watering at the right time. iBuyers like Opendoor captured less than 1% of the $1.7 trillion U.S. real estate market in 2024. To gain greater market share and transform the fragmented industry, the plan was to offer three main products: sell to Opendoor, list with Opendoor, and Opendoor Marketplace, with revenue primarily coming from acquiring homes directly and reselling them, mainly focusing on offering competitive pricing and reducing capital intensity. That's why heavy investment went into its pricing engine, which leverages AI and vast datasets for more accurate home valuations and pricing decisions, helping to achieve long-term margins by improving inventory management, reducing holding costs, and increasing efficiencies. But of course, this is a work in progress that'll take time. So when looking at Opendoor's earlier explosion and the origins of the wider second meme stock wave, it's worth noting the influence of retail investors rallying behind highly shorted, loss-making companies. Which is why, besides Opendoor, companies like Kohl's, Krispy Kreme, and GoPro attracted major attention because of the significant short interest they had. As stocks like these spurred on social media posts that often expressed the desire to short squeeze, price rose, which then made shorts cover their positions, leading to price rising even more, like what famously happened with GameStop. A post that catalyzed short squeeze hopes into tangible reality came from Eric Jackson, a hedge fund manager at EMJ Capital who expressed a bullish outlook on Opendoor, predicting its stock could hit $82. While such a high price has yet to be hit, Opendoor shares have soared substantially, going from a literal penny stock to reaching double-digit territory at one point. The rapid rise had another accelerant in the form of pricing and time. As mentioned earlier, Opendoor's stock was well under $1 prior to Eric Jackson's post, or any obvious indication of a new meme stock rally. This meant the stock was in non-compliance with listing requirements. In order to avoid delisting, management at Opendoor considered the idea of a reverse stock split to get price back over $1. Fortunately for Eric Jackson and other investors who opposed the reverse split, it never happened since the meme stock rally kicked in. Once back over $1 for 12 consecutive business days from July 15th to July 30th, Open's stock rallied harder because the reverse split idea was canceled, instilling more confidence and contributing to the rush of funds pouring through the proverbial door. As the rally stabilized after the reverse split was taken off the table, Opendoor's then CEO Carrie Wheeler addressed investors after a volatile earnings week that saw heightened calls for clearer leadership and a more ambitious strategy. Her first social media post in 4 years followed a decline in shares after a disappointing earnings call and weak guidance. Wheeler acknowledged the recent investor enthusiasm, framing the attention as a, quote, gift, and embraced the meme moment. However, she stopped short of providing a clear roadmap for Opendoor's future, particularly regarding its AI strategy, which remains a major concern for retail investors and activists. Jackson and other investors have been vocal in demanding more engagement and a comprehensive plan to drive the company's future growth, particularly with AI. Entrepreneur Anthony Pompliano echoed similar sentiments when it was revealed he had an investment in Opendoor, adding momentum to the retail investor-driven surge, while also urging for more transparency and dialogue. So, to urgently hold the line, Opendoor's board responded to growing demands, with board member Adam Bain confirming that the team was working on an investor presentation and potentially an AI-focused investor day. Later, another price jump of over 10% was delivered for Opendoor when Eric Jackson paused his calls for litigation. Specifically, he had been threatening legal action to push for the appointment of co-founder Keith Rabois to the board. Like the cancellation of the reverse stock split, timely developments saved the day, because Jackson's idea began receiving overwhelming shareholder support, especially in relation to Jackson emphasizing the need for Rabois to lead the search for a visionary CEO capable of transforming Opendoor. When Carrie Wheeler stepped down as CEO, the stock jumped yet again, while at the same time, interim CEO Shrisha Radhakrishna responded with incremental engagement, including the creation of a digital investor hub. Although minor, this move was seen as a step up from Wheeler, who had attempted to re-engage investors through social media and interviews. At the end of the day, Wheeler's leadership was perceived as lacking the vision and energy needed for the company's transformation. Jackson called for execution over financial engineering, emphasizing the company's AI potential. Retail investors, particularly those supporting Jackson's campaign, have been vocal in demanding a more ambitious strategy, including a focus on AI and long-term growth. In response, Opendoor appointed Kaz Najatian, Shopify's COO, as its new CEO, while co-founder Keith Rabois stays as chairman. Consequently, the market generally approved, with Opendoor's stock rising 49% following the announcement. Along with Najatian and Rabois, appointments, co-founder Eric Wu returned to Opendoor's board. On top of that, Rabois and Wu's Khosla Ventures will invest $40 million in equity capital to help accelerate Opendoor's growth. Moving ahead, leadership faces the challenge of navigating the company's transformation, steering its AI development, and delivering a compelling vision for future growth to all those who've jumped on board. For extra incentive to do well, Kaz Najatian was granted 3 equity awards as part of his employment agreement that became effective on September 15th. The grants include a restricted stock unit, RSU, covering 1,580,611 shares, and 2 performance-based RSUs, each covering 40,886,344 shares. The first performance-based RSU vests over 5 years, with 20% vesting on the first anniversary and the remainder in quarterly installments, contingent on achieving an average stock price of $6.24 over 60 days. The second performance-based award also spans 5 years and includes 7 tranches with stock price hurdles ranging from $9 to $33. Both performance awards feature accelerated vesting under certain termination or change in control scenarios, particularly if the transaction price exceeds $25 per share. Externally, aside from the hordes of retail investors huddling around Eric Jackson's stance, hedge funds Cube Research and Technologies and Weiss Asset Management have acquired stakes in Opendoor. Share price has also typically risen when such holdings are revealed, such as after Jane Street disclosed a 5.9% passive stake in the company, amounting to approximately 44 million shares, valued at $362 million. Moreover, Opendoor co-founder Eric Wu purchased $2 million worth of stock, buying 300,752 shares at $6.65 each, signaling confidence in the company's long-term prospects and suggesting that management is backing the company's potential to overcome current difficulties. Kaz Najatian outlined a strategic pivot to transform Opendoor into a, quote, software and AI company with a focus on profitability. Najatian emphasized improving unit economics, pricing, and operational efficiency as key drivers for the company's recovery. While that long-term vision gets underway, with Najatian confident the company will reach break-even adjusted net income by the end of 2026, Opendoor's Q4 outlook projected revenue down 35% and continued pressure on margins due to inventory clearing, since 51% of homes on hand were on the market for over 120 days. Nonetheless, Opendoor investors and fans remain positive about the planned shift to AI and software, as well as intentions to increase market penetration, expanding into new markets, and enhancing their digital platform with additional products, helping it gain an edge over traditional offline real estate processes, iBuyers, and adjacent services like title and escrow providers. If you liked this open house, please like and share. Then remember, for more on stocks and crypto, follow Ascencore. See you next time.